Okay, this is the USGS. This is a government agency. Now, their video is blurrier than mine, actually. And that's saying a lot. Now, he's going to be talking about what it takes to be earth science careers, not just rocks. All right, now this is our government speaking here. Now listen to this. It might come out loud. Hold on.
We're doing a little research about all the things you can do when you work for the U.S. Geological Survey, and we thought we'd start by asking some people what they already know about the USGS. Would you mind answering a couple questions?
No, go ahead.
What do you think they do at the USGS?
The U.S. what?
GS, Geological Survey.
Study rocks?
Collect rocks from all over the country?
Something to do with rocks?
Rocks? I have really no idea, so I'll just guess, study rocks?
Okay then, what kind of scientist do you think would work at the Geological Survey?
Geologists.
Geologists.
Geometry teachers.
Geographists.
Scientists who study rocks?
All right, that was helpful. At least now we know where to start.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, my wonderful friends, it's Roger, Mud Fossil University. I discovered mud fossils, and they are part of what I would consider to be geological formations, and I deserve to be heard by the United States Geological Survey. And Bob Holmes is going to be making some statements about how he desperately needs to hire people to understand everything, and I have been dismissed from this realm. So we're going to hold him to his words, but I'll show you why I feel I deserve a position at the table. Okay, my friends, Roger once again, Mud Fossil University, showing that virtually anything can turn into stone, and they have, and geologists have missed all of this. Now, I ran into an article about what you should do to become an exploration geologist, geoscientist, they call it now. Well, the first thing you should do is open your mind up, and the first thing it says is go find some people as mentors that'll tell you what you should think. Wrong. This is a bone. And it's no question it's a bone. Anybody that has any sense in their mind can see anatomically it's a bone, and it literally bled. Now, we know that rocks can come from petrified trees. That's a petrified tree. Totally different than petrified by, creatures. Totally different. Now, this is DNA certified as human. It's a lung, and it's completely anatomically perfect. The pleura, the fascia, the blood, 100% there. These literally bleed from the bone foramen that have blood vessels inside. I will show you that in a second. There are new species that are being ignored because they don't fit the paradigm of the people that you are going to go ask for help. And they are going to say, don't listen to Roger, he's a crazy guy, stay away from him, and then you'll be okay. And that's probably true. Because if you follow me or you look at the stuff that I talk to you about, you will be ruined as a career person. And that's basically the facts. And it happened to Velikovsky. I actually wrote a book about Velikovsky. And this is the backing of the blood scab from this bone. They literally leak blood out of them. Once you take them out of their environment, and I know all of the chemistry, so I'm going to tell you, if you want to be a geoscientist, an analytical exploration geoscientist, you want to understand and examine and explore and think, come to me. Okay, my friends, this is Roger, Mud Fossil University. I discovered mud fossils and the process that turns biology into stone. And that is a stone bonehead. It is now stone, as is this new species of, it looks like a hominid to me, and it has the toes inside, and it has all of the same things we have. It has a tibula, which is the big bone, and has a fibula that sits on the side and that falls off. This is a DNA certified human lung that is also obviously stone. And this is, it's been certified in every single way, and CAT scanned and all of that. So all my stuff is verified completely and totally, and it's not just rocks, they are existing body parts. And I will show you some giant creatures that I have that change the paradigm of everything. Now, before I do show you that, I want to show you what the Geological Survey says and what they're trying to determine, which is what I determined, is what is the Earth made of, and what is these things that we're finding, and why do some of them look a certain way versus other ones, and why do we see crystallization in areas and other ones turn to opal and other ones turn to salt, and all the colors and all these things. I understand it intimately now. It's transition metals and so forth. Now, this is Homo sapien mitochondrial DNA, and I have giants that have the same DNA. And this was all certified by a validated certified lab. And it said somewhere here, it says excellent quality DNA was obtained from the 36-inch tip and the lung sample. And this is the lung. And I took it right out of the red blood area down here. You can see I drilled a hole right up in there, I think it was. But it was in here. All you need is a little pin drill, and you just get enough where you've got a little sample, just a, less than a gram. You don't need much at all. And I sampled the other ones too, and I had 3 samples. I sent them off from 3 different types of specimens, and they all came back as human mitochondrial DNA, which I suspected because of the anatomy. Now, this I did not get tested, but I can tell you what, that is a human-ish foot, and we have them in other states of deterioration that show that there's springs in here and not tendons. So this is not a human foot in a shoe. These are, let me show you that, and then let me show you what they say at the USGS, because I want to be included in this investigation. That's what they're talking about. I'll show you. Okay, this is the USGS, and this is going to be Supervisor Holmes, and I would like him to respond. Now, they don't let you comment on here, but this is our government agency, and here's what he has to say. Let me open this up, and we're just right from the horse's mouth. Here it goes.
I'm always looking for people who have an interest in understanding the how and why of a problem. Science is a lot like detective work. You have a problem like contaminated water, or erosion, or flooding, or whatever, and you need to figure out how to solve the problem. One of my responsibilities at the USGS is hiring scientists, so I'm always looking for people like that. People who like finding answers to questions, and who aren't afraid of a little adventure.
You're looking at him, my friend. I am your man. Now, to a geologist, that is a giant rock, but to me, that is a giant fingertip, and it is 3 feet long from here to here. And that is the fingernail. Take your time, look at it slowly and carefully. That is the bone that mates up to the next bone, and it's like a pad that they bump against. And it is in such pristine condition that the fingernail is literally perfect. So you would expect the fingerprints to be literally perfect as well. And they are. All right, this is the grip skin, which is the fingerprint skin. It's tough as can be. It's extremely keratinized. This is the other thing that geologists don't understand, is the chemistry of biology. Every layer in your body has a different chemical signature, and that's why you see all these sedimentary layers. They're not sedimentary layers in most cases. They are literally layers of tissue. This is about that thick is the skin on the fingertip. This one single fingerprint line, one ridge, is the width of my thumb. You see, it's not much difference. It's the same size. Now, so this is a 3-foot long fingertip. This was on that DNA report, so it is also DNA certified. So now I have another one. Let me show you that one, which is another giant. Now these things have all been refused to be examined, even with my CAT scans, my DNA certifications, my anatomists, my obvious evidence and specimens. By Yale will not allow this, and that's, they won't talk to me whatsoever. Absolutely refuse to see these things. So that, because everybody says you're right next to, and I'm right down the road from Yale, and they refuse to see it. So I am refused to be examined by anybody at this point, because science has become follow the science. It's not follow the science, it's follow the leader. This is the science. The leader is supposedly Yale and Harvard and all the rest of them. Again, Harvard, same thing, refuses. Every one of them refused. Johns Hopkins, and I went to literally all of them to seek some kind of interaction, some discussion. Zero. So if you think you're going to be a geologist and be able to speak about the truth in your business, you're just not going to be able to do it unless you're outside the business like I am. They can't affect me like they will affect you. They will take your certification away. They will put you in the back seat of everything if you speak up. And exactly what these professors say: listen to your mentors, listen to the people that came ahead of you. They know what they were talking about. Listen to them. They did not know what they're talking about. They talked the same thing that the person before them talked because they want to keep their job. And I'm sorry, I have to always go down this route, but that is the route of every single profession now. You have to follow what you're being told to follow by the one that is ahead of you. Unless you are really in an exceptional place where the guy that's on top is really open, and that's just rare, very rare. Because if he's open, he's probably on top. Because you got to follow the leader. You got to say what they say. Now, you can develop new technologies in specialized skills, absolutely. But when you start talking about the things I'm talking about, right away, it doesn't matter what you come to the table with. You're denied and dismissed because you're just over the edge. And geology is supposed to be a true science of material things. And right now it's opinion versus fact. And I have the facts. They have the opinions. I win. Hello, my outstanding friends. It's Roger once again, Mud Fossil University. I discovered mud fossils. I named them mud fossils, and I understand the process that converts biology into stone. And I've done it 100, well, I got 2,000 videos, and at least 1,500 of them are on this basic principle and geology, which is overlooked and dismissed and will not even be allowed. That's the key. And I ran across, somebody sent me something today about what it takes to become a geoscientist. And they're given, and I'm going to show you the US Geological Survey and some other professors and what you have to do to become a successful geoscientist, which basically is do what you're told to do. Repeat what you're told to repeat. Now, this is geology. Obviously, these are stone. That's a stone. That's rock. But that is a foot from what we call, well, I named them the no-toes, because the toes are literally embedded inside of this structure. This is mine right here, obviously, and it had a fibula on the side. The tibia is here. If you can see in the right light, you should be able to see that bone is right there. Now, the other bone that comes down, it's on the side of your foot too, and it just falls off. Same thing it did on this one. All right, so this is a different one, this is a different one. They all have the same thing. They all have a tibia and a fibula, just like we did, only the toes are included, and there's springs. You see this? Let me come in a little. There's springs in the foot. You see what we have here is tendons? All right, we have tendons, but we have a ball and a strap. The strap comes up to our bone. It runs up the leg so that your foot can wiggle. Now, this is that strap. Okay, there's the ball. Here it is right there. There's the strap. There's the strap. This one obviously facing the other direction. Now, what do we see? It's broken off. So the strap is broken off here and twanged back there. That's called a wrinkle zone. Whenever tendons snap, they wrinkle, and that's the little wrinkle. Now, this is the saddle that the bone up here sat down in, and the foot could rock back and forth this way. Well, not only could it rock back and forth, this was springs. And I looked at these very, very carefully, and I have a bunch of videos about this, and it's literally constructed of little latches and there's cavities in here where the spring can come into itself, and it's a torsion. Well, I don't know if you call it torsion spring, but it lifts up this way, and it hits a limit, and then it's at its limit of twisting up, and then this one twists. So you get a double twist. It twists, and then that one starts. And then it just automatically comes back to a flat condition. These have some form of a tension in them, like tendon, only they're in that shape instead of the tendon running straight up the legs. So obviously somebody engineered this. This is not an accident. And I can show you, there's engineers and there's straps and there's little pieces in there that are obviously engineered. So we got a lot of thinking to do. If you want to be a real, true scientist, it's got to start over. And you're the ones that, if you're going to come into this as a geoscientist and put your money up on the line to be taught, you're making a big mistake if you're going to anywhere, especially Yale. They absolutely refuse to engage in this. They're right down the street from me, and it's been 10 years basically that their refusal to even look at this now. And since they've refused, everybody thinks I'm an idiot. So that's what and those are the people they want you to go seek out to get advice from. I say no, not a good idea. Okay, as I said, the students are the ones that are getting the short end of the stick here. This is student chapter field trip videos, and this is from the Society of Economic Geologists. Now, these are people that, basically they want to exploit what they can get out of the earth to make money. And everybody's got to make money. I understand that, but, there's better ways to do things where you don't cause as much damage and you understand what you're doing more than just being told to do something. Now, I'm going to submit this video to them at their student web and see if they will look at it. And you should do the same thing. I am pretty much on spam lists everywhere now and so forth, because I did try to contact a lot of people. Maybe they just decided, well, the guys just forget about them, which they did. And they did forget quite well. But somebody's got to do something, or these kids are just being taken to the cleaners for nothing. I saw a heartbreaking report on student debt, and and people that are thinking that they're going to make a career out of this or that, and they really go to Coursera on well, hold on a second. I think I have a link. Hold on. All right, I have gone to all kinds of schools, Johns Hopkins, University of Geneva, Rice University, a whole ton of them. And you can go for free. And then they even track what you're doing, and this is called Coursera. Just look them up. And you're going to have to do a little footwork yourself. I can't give you everything. And if you go there, they will actually track what you're interested in and send you recommendations. And you don't have to pay for this. This is free. Now, if you need a piece of paper that says that you were trained and they agree with what that you listened to what they said, but I don't listen to what they say. I want to know what they're saying so I can understand. There's all this quantum stuff. I do all that stuff. I do all of that stuff. So I'm not just guessing, and I've been really deep into this. But let me show you. I can accelerate light and split light. All right, that's a regular light. That's light being accelerated. If anybody tells you can't accelerate light, they're crazy. That is a particle of light, and that particle creates a wave because it's magnetic. So the wave has to push through all these other magnetic particles, and that causes push to shove, which is glow. This is acceleration of the particle completely sucked out of the wave into the venturi, and when that happens, light photons literally divide, and that's what Fermilab wants to see, and they refuse to talk to me. This is the top-down problem with denial of reality. Those are muons or bosons, and they're also dark matter, because that's all they do is attract and are gravitational. They don't explode, they don't concuss, they don't emit, they don't absorb, and then they immediately attract back here. We could use this for free energy, and nobody at Fermilab, nobody at CERN, nobody anywhere will contact me back. I've tried everybody, and I've already figured out and designed a device that should be able to harvest free energy. I have it on the internet for free, but nobody will pay attention to it because they have me blocked from general society now. I'm telling too much truth or something. I'm using some physical evidence. I'm not trying to create any conspiracies or uprisings or any of that nonsense. I got vaccinated. I'm not a fool, but I'm being treated like a fool. I'm being treated like an outcast. And you are the recipient of that, my friends, because you are the ones that have been mentocided. Look it up, menticide. You work for somebody else's interest against your own. All right, I'm pretty sure I showed you the DNA test. This was on the DNA test as well. This is a hand. It's a 3-foot wide human hand, DNA certified. This is one of the fingertips. I have a bunch of parts from this, knuckles and so forth. And that's the apical tuft at the tip of the finger where all of the little balls lock in there to give your finger mobility. This has been CAT scanned, DNA certified. The fingernail's gone and it's eroded away a little bit, but this is not too bad. But this was in a mud condition where it was basically where there was a lot of fleshy, red, meaty sort of particulates in that, wherever this thing was entombed in. And it became literally mud. It turned into a mud rock. They call that a mud rock. Well, it's not a mud rock. It's a giant hand, a left hand, exactly like yours. This is the bumper pad like that you have on your hand. You see it? It's fleshy. And then it transitions into a tendon. It runs down just like you have on yours. And this is the grip skin that I showed before. I'm almost sure. Well, I know I showed you before somewhere. And it's thin on this, but it's still maybe a 1/16 of an inch thick. But on that other one, it was like huge. And that's because the creature was probably absolutely gigantic. The fingertip's 3 feet long, so you do the math. And anatomically, I believe they were virtually the same as us. And you see them all carved on these walls and stuff in Egypt, that they were gigantic people, and the little tiny people standing next to them. We always thought it was just because they wanted to portray themselves as big. No, they were big. Okay, Robert Holmes has come quite a ways here. He's now in charge of scientists and projects in areas of, for me, it's sedimentation and geomorphology. How did these things morph into the geological formations we see today? And obviously, I've just shown you how these things do change, and the conditions that they change in, and what they change into is absolutely dependent upon the conditions that they were entombed in. What was the chemistry that was in the waters that they had drowned and become stabilized in? Because different molecules will invade different other molecules. They'll figure a way to get stable if they're in there long enough. And then when they drain out, if they've drained out with good, clean, flushy water, they'll turn into solid stone. And some of them were big. As I showed you, I'm not making this up. And if it's not addressed as a scientific response from a scientist, then I don't know what to say. But I obviously will have something to say. All right, and I expect, well, I hope, but it hasn't happened in 10 years, so let's see.